Oh, look at the Kirby pancake. Ooh. Do you like pancakes? Yeah, I like pancakes. Do you like waffles? Yeah, I like waffles. Do, can't wait to get a mouthful. Update? Has there been an update? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and there's a beekeeper hat? Ah, neat. Alright. Where was that? Oh. Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah. That's adorable. See anything good in the shops? Oh, yeah. No, don't care, don't care. Yeah, God, weapon shredder. What the? I like that. I like the design, but I never wear it. You know, I'm so glad they gave Tone Kensai a new sub ability, because some of my favorite designs are this one, but it always had such a bad, like, secondary. I'm so glad they changed it. That's cute. So when picking a team, honestly, pancakes and waffles are so similar. I know some purists out there is going to be like, oh, but this, but that. Yeah, shut up. I went between the two. I think pancakes are more universally consistent. Like, the pancakes quality overall will be the most solid. So that's why I'm going Team Pancake. But the best one is French toast. I know it's not made the same way, but French toast is the superior breakfast food. And that's why it's not every time they do Splatfest like these, it's like, oh, it's going to be ketchup and mustard. Ketchup and mayo. Oh, it's going to be, oh, you got to do pancakes and French toast. I mean, yeah, French toast would destroy. But still. Wait, what was that one? Yeah, I like that. I'm now over 200. Since the last Splatfest, I'm now over 200 salty sea snails. Cool. We'll do one match and then we'll get into Splat and chat. It's been a little over a month. So we do have a lot to talk about, and plus there's a bunch of stuff I didn't even write down. I've got Katy Perry's Hot and Cold stuck in my head. I haven't even listened to it in years. Well, probably a year, but still. Yeah, sometimes the internet's cool like that. For a yellow ink, this is a very mustardy yellow. That's literally the only way I can think of describing this. Shit. I have not played this game since the last Splat and chat. No, maybe I played once to get the salmon run gear. But that's it. I have not played. It usually only takes me like 2 rounds to get the salmon run gear. They haven't even been over here. Oh god, why did I get stuck? Of course I got stuck underneath the wall. Shit. Shit. I was hoping there was nobody there. Yeah, I hope everything's going good. So I started back since last time. I have started up Colleague again, and it's been super busy. Oh my god, it's been 4 weeks, so I've been at it about a month. It's killing me, man. It's seriously killing me, but hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Haven't had much time to play games, admittedly, because of it. I'm at the point where I'm reading almost 1,000 pages a week, which is not pretty, but hey, that's the job. I mean, it's what I signed up for technically, but I'm much more interested in writing it than I am, doing what I'm currently doing, than just reading, but, I mean... God, one of my teachers is so... Or professors, whatever. So full of it. Oh my god, I'm just, like, sitting there in class, like... Just, I disagree with everything you say. Ugh. But hey, I'm surviving. I've only got another 12 weeks to go. But yeah, that's personally. I mean, we'll get to the games I've been playing and whatnot. We'll talk about the Lego movie. No spoilers. I went and saw that opening night, man. Because I love... Or the second Lego movie I've seen. The first Lego movie is so great, but we'll get to that later. Well, it opened today, but I went and saw it yesterday night. My gear has no swim speed on it. I need to change that. Yeah. Alright, and welcome to Splat and Chat. I know the show's started, but hey, you get it. Splat and Chat, the show where once a month, sometimes more than that, sometimes less than that, I talk about all the gaming news from the past month. I talk about all the games I've been playing, yada yada yada. There's some good news. There's a lot happening. There was a lot of Nintendo Direct rumors, and a lot happened with that kind of went both ways, and we'll talk about it. But yeah. So let's go back to the very beginning of January. They announced Dragon's Dogma is coming to Switch. This is, I think it's an RPG that I had heard about, but I knew very little of. I looked a little into it. I think we even got a release date. It's sometime within the first quarter of this year, I think. It's fairly soon. But that's literally how we kicked off the year with, hey, Dragon's Dogma's coming out, which is interesting. Oh god, just based on the fact that there's 2 heavy dynamos, I can already tell you we've lost. You know, the dynamo was a lot better in the first game, but just 2 of them is way too much to have on one team. If this was an Overwatch-style game where you could pick your teams beforehand, you could balance that shit out, but Nintendo ain't a clever bunch, really. They ain't. But yeah, Dragon's Dogma, that's how we started out. We got an RPG. Or it's an RPG. I know very little. People are saying it's good. There's some sort of controversy, I remember, but I could not tell you specifically what that was. I want to say it was like DLC related for some reason. Oh yeah. Booyah bomb me, boys. I made a hit. But yeah, Dragon's Dogma. Then, you know, How do I want it? Okay, so there was rumored for a long time that we were going to get a Nintendo Direct. I want to say within like the first like 2-3 weeks of the year. There was all these rumors. Oh, we're getting a Nintendo Direct. Oh, a Nintendo Direct's going to happen soon. And then it never happened. My theory is that it didn't happen because there was something that happened behind the scenes. There was a direct plan. I totally believe that. And there's a lot of things that we'll talk about that make it feel like, yeah, there was a direct that was going to happen. But for any number of reasons, it got canceled. The biggest one that I doubt was actually had very little influence on what happened to the direct. We'll talk about a little later because it's the main story of tonight. Even though it happened like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so a direct was most likely canceled. There's a lot of new announcements and whatnot that we do want to talk about. And the first one, well, Dragon's Dogma, I don't think was a direct announcement, just because it came so early in the month. Everything else, though, any Nintendo announcement was most likely a direct. And I'm not counting the Indie Direct, which the Indie Direct had like 1, maybe 2 good things in it. Wargroove, and there was probably one other thing. No Untitled Goose Game, nothing of the like. So the Indie Direct was disappointing, I'd say the least. I didn't hate it or anything. But yeah, that we got that. But the first one, the one I keep saying I'm going to get to is the Yoshi. So Yoshi's Crafted World, we knew it was coming early on. That's just the type of game it was. And it got a release date of March 29th. It's a little, almost 2 months away, give or take. I mean, we're on the 9th, so a month and 20 days. Yeah, no, that's not... I'm surprised we actually won that. Yeah, that's not too far away. Again, this is something that would have been... This was announced, and there was one other thing that got announced on the same day, where it was like, yeah, no, that should have been in the Direct. But it wasn't because there was a Direct that was canceled, and it was right around the time that everybody was rumored that a Direct was going to happen. Are you... Okay, let's keep the hat, but let's change the shoes. Where are my shoes? I can't change the shirt. Tried and true classic. Yep. But yeah, Yoshi still looks fine. I have... Oh, Kirby. Kirby was also shown. And Kirby's like comes out like next week if I'm not wrong. Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn comes out. Ugh. Extra Epic Yarn. We just got some new footage and whatnot, so it comes out fairly soon. Oof. I own the original on Wii U, so I have no interest in it. Even though I hear they are making some changes that I do like. They're making the game a little harder from what I've heard. March 8th, so okay, it's in like 3 weeks. That's still fairly soon. But yeah, I heard they're making the game a little harder. They're adding all new things, some new modes and whatnot, like a DDD thing and a Meta Knight thing. Yeah, you know, adding some power-ups, I guess. I like the original. I know it's easy, but I actually really liked the original Kirby's Epic Yarn. I love a sequel. We keep getting these Yoshi crafted games, which aren't bad. I never actually beat Yoshi's Woolly World. I actually started it back up again when Chugga Conroy started it up again. So I should be playing it. And I started playing a little bit of it, but I got busy with college and I just never finished it. That's really what happened. I talked about it on Stream and Past. Chugga Conroy is now doing Phantom Hourglass, which, as I said back in the year of Zelda, right at the end of the year, maybe. I think did I talk about it during? No, I talked about it in the last episode of Link Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. Phantom Hourglass is one of the only Zelda games I have never played. So yeah, that's neat to see. I'm not actually. I should buy a copy of Phantom Hourglass. Chugga Conroy is one of the few Let's Players I can play along with. There's a purpose for that. But yeah, so Yoshi, it looks fine. I might pick it up. I might not. Again, depends on how money is. I mean, new amiibos come out next week, which we will talk about later on when we talk about the Smash Bros. DLC. But yeah, I don't know. But hey, it's cool. It's coming out. We needed some sort of spring game other than. Have we even gotten a spring? The last thing we got was Smash, which, yeah, Smash is cool. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. Gosh dang it! Slow down. Yeah. So we got that. Next up, I've got Bungie? So, okay, how I have this worded. So Bungie has officially left Activision, and they're now their own independent studio, right? They're now going to be doing their own stuff. They basically got their soul back. The way I have it written in my notes is that, so Bungie originally worked for Microsoft, but they left Microsoft to gain more independent and creative freedom. They escaped Satan's maw, and then they went to Activision, which is basically just leaving Satan to go to Mega Satan. Really, that's basically it. And now somehow they managed to win their soul back a second time, and now they're independent, which hopefully they realize the evils of the AAA industry. Hopefully they stop corrupting their games with microtransactions and all that bullshit, and actually make some good fucking games. Bungie could be good, or Destiny could be good, but I cannot get into it. I've never been able to get into Destiny, or the sequels. Man, did I have, no, I did not have that written down. We'll talk about it later. We will talk about that later. I might as well just write it down here. But yeah, I've never been able, but hey, Bungie able to escape Mega Satan, that is Activision, is good for them. It's healthy for them. That maybe they'll stop filling their games with bullshit and actually be a good developer. Maybe I'll be more enticed to give them credit than, God, all of the shit. Because they don't seem like a bad developer. There was all those clips when the raid for Destiny 2 first launched. Because I guess Bungie works in an old movie theater. So they still have projectors and whatnot for the screens, and they were watching live streamers do the raid and tried to figure out the raid. That's actually really charming. Unless you're an Activision or an EA, a big AAA greedy company, if you're more smaller, if you're independent and you're just trying to make good games, I'll root for you, even if they can fail. God, I'm almost drinking my entire pitcher of water. There was the Mortal Kombat 11. It had its big reveal. Yeah, my brother's a huge fan, and I get shit for this. So I think I talked about companies live fail. I hate Activision. I hate EA. We'll talk about EA in a minute. But Mortal Kombat 11 got its big reveal, and my problem with Mortal Kombat specifically, I think it was 10. So Mortal Kombat's known for its fatalities, which is cool and neat, and that's if you know how to do it. But there's a system where you can pay microtransactions to get tokens to do easy fatalities. I know for some people it's not a big deal, but personally I kind of hate that. I know player choice, but it shouldn't be an option. There's no reason for something like that to exist. And that's that it's a microcosm of my problem with microtransaction in games. Why I hate studios like EA, Warner Brothers, Activision. Yeah. But yeah, so other than that, it looks fine. I played 9, 10. I've played the first Injustice, never played the second one. they can. It's just, I like, there's all those memes about Shaggy, and get Shaggy in Mortal Kombat 11. I mean, Warner Brothers does own Scooby-Doo. They could totally do it if they wanted to. It's funny as hell. I mean, I know the meme's already dead for most people, which, God, we'll talk about dead memes later on with Fortnite, because, of course, we always got to talk about Fortnite in the show at some point. But yeah, so I'm rooting for it, I guess. So let's do one of the big stories. EA and Star Wars. So EA this was years ago. I think it's already halfway over, so it's been like 5 years. But they got a 10-year exclusive license agreement to Star Wars, to make all the Star Wars games. From there, they made Star Wars Battlefront, which was, I loved the Star Wars. I don't have much memories of the original, but I loved the second one. The second Star Wars Battlefront I had on PS2, great game, super fun. But they made Star Wars Battlefront, they rushed it to market just so that they could have a tie-in with the movie, and we all agree it sucked, right? It had a bunch of flaws. The second one was, they put some more time into it. It was definitely a better game, but then they ruined it with microtransactions, loot boxes, and tons of other problems. I mean, it was better, it wasn't perfect, and that's it. That's, in 5 years, EA has put out 2 Star Wars games. And they have a 10 years license agreement. They're, one of the Visceral, Visceral did Dead Space, right? They were working on a Star Wars game. They had whoever did the Uncharted games to come on and do it. But then they canceled it because, again, this is why I hate AAA industry. They're all about live services and microtransactions. And even though companies like Warner Brothers have pushed microtransactions in AAA single-player games, right, they want live services. They want games that you come back to, so they canceled that single-player Star Wars game, and instead we're going to reuse its assets to make a multiplayer game. Well, it was announced just a few weeks ago, I guess, that was canceled. That sucks. Right? Well, yeah, but, I mean, I doubt it was going to be good, because, again, they were pushing live services. And I still quote the thing. How is it? A Star Wars game doesn't need any of that. A Star Wars game is huge. It's going to succeed no matter what. It's like putting microtransactions in a first-party game. I'm looking at you, Microsoft. There is no reason for a first-party game to have microtransactions. Because either it's a first-party game. It's just supposed to show what's great about the console. Nintendo and Sony get it. Nintendo and Sony are great at it. But Microsoft just keeps putting microtransactions in their single-player or multiplayer games that just, there's no reason for them to do it. That's why I hate Microsoft, man. Well, don't get me wrong. I don't have, like, bitter disdain that I do for some of the other developers, like Activision, EA, Warner Brothers. But yeah, so they screwed it up. They're starting a new Star Wars game. I mean, we know Respawn is working on something, which Respawn just got something released, which is cool. But yeah, we know Respawn is working on a game, and we know some other studio, so they moved it over to, like, EA Vancouver, and now somebody else is working on it, or they're restarting, or something. And the internet's basically in agreement that EA should lose the Star Wars license. If Disney was smart, EA has created tons of controversy, especially with Battlefront 2. They need to lose the Star Wars license and start licensing it out to developers. The one I saw was Devolver Digital would like to take a shot at a Star Wars game. That sounds like a great idea. I would love a Devolver Digital Star Wars game. Devolver Digital is great. So yeah, I'm totally 1000% on board with that. They should lose the Star Wars licensing. But Disney came out recently and admitted that they're not good at making games. Yeah. But as part of that, they said that they're not good at making games, so that's why they're fine with EA making them. No, It sounds like Disney is in an abusive relationship here. That, oh, but EA is good to me, right? Oh, he'd never betray me. No, EA is full of shit. Drop EA, or at least lose the exclusivity license. Allow other developers to make games. That's what they need to do. I have no idea what this map... Okay, so we're finally seeing shifty stations. Oh, okay. Okay, I figured... Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I was expecting something there. But yeah, I totally... EA should lose the Star Wars license. I hate EA. And let's just keep going on this EA hate train. So they did an investors meeting, an investors call, whatever you want to call it recently. And so Battlefront 5, which in the investors call, they talk about the marketing and how they consider the marketing for the game a failure. I agree. I never saw a single ad, or I never saw anything of the game outside of E3 or their EA Play bullshit. And even at their EA Play bullshit, I remember saying that there's nothing to this game. I remember being disappointed by the EA Play event and how they handled it. So yeah, I totally get why Battlefront, that's the main reason they're blaming. I think there's tons of other inherent flaws with Battlefront. I mean, again, it's post EA, post all this microtransaction bullshit. I see why it failed. But I heard it was an okay game. So, which is, yeah, it's okay, but there was nothing about it. There was nothing interesting. I know it was going to have a Battle Royale mode, because Battle Royale mode is the next Horde mode. If it isn't obvious, I mean, we'll talk about Apex Legends here in a second. But yeah, I totally get why it failed. I get why it didn't sell as well as they wanted it to, but EA considers it a failure. It's still sold 7.3. It's either 7.2 or 7.3. I can't remember off the top of my head. Million copies. That's a lot of copies. Plus, I don't think it had a season pass, but it probably had microtransactions, and it probably made money off of them. There was it probably made a bunch of money, and it sold 7 million copies. But because it didn't sell 8 million, it's considered a failure. That's the problem with the AAA industry, man. And we see this all... It's a song and dance. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, a song and dance. No matter what you make, every AAA game seems to be a failure now. At least from, like, Activision or EA. Oh, they need to sell 10 million copies. I mean, sometimes games are just set up for failure. Nintendo, man. How they treated Chibi Robo. They did Chibi Robo dirty. But yeah, no, 7 is not. But because they projected 8 million, because it was supposed to make all the money in the world, Battlefront 5 is considered a failure. God, I thought we had that. We were taking so much of the top map. I thought we were doing great there. I guess not. But yeah, so that's bullshit. The AAA industry. You know, I think we're in a bubble, and the AAA industry is going to collapse soon. I'm not the only one who's thinking this. It's just a matter of time before they can no longer make investors happy, and eventually one of the studios collapses, one of the Activision's, EA's, someone like that collapses under the weight that it can't hold, making all the money in the world, that it can't keep this exponential growth. And then when it falls, all the other AAA studios will fall with it. It'll be another video game crash like what Atari did back in the 80s. I think it's only a matter of time. I've said this all the time. It sucks. I don't want it to happen, especially for like the indie game developers and studios I like Sony, Microsoft, kind of Bethesda sometimes, other CD Projekt Red, other big AAA developers that I do like, and AAA with quotes. Right? They do good jobs, but... well, I would say Rockstar, but 2K is the devil. Rockstar is a good developer. They know how to make good games, but 2K is just evil, man. They are evil. But, I feel like there's something I'm forgetting about EA. But the next thing, so even though, oh yeah, Anthem had its beta. I hear it's okay. I heard the Anthem beta was okay. It comes out soon. The big thing that everyone was talking about is they have like a release chart that tells you like the different versions, because the release date for a game is becoming optional, right? Oh, when do we release the game? I don't know, sometime in like a 2-month window. That's one of the problems we're seeing with this AAA. Oh, if you buy you can buy a version to play it early. Oh, you buy the version with the beta. You buy the version with blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. You buy the version that lets you play a week early with EA Origins. You buy the version that doesn't even give you the game. That just allows you to rent it through, like, Xbox Game Pass or Microsoft bullshit. I actually, again, I'm not... that sounds like me being mean, and it is. But I also don't... I feel like a system like Xbox Game Pass, for someone who doesn't have a lot of money but still likes games, is not a bad idea. I actually am in favor of something like Game Pass, as long as the option to still physically buy the game is still there. Like, we're seeing a problem with diversification in TV right now, where you have companies like every company, I think CBS is the one I'm normally thinking of, where they're like, oh yeah, so you buy cable, and that gives you access to all of the different cable channels. But you have companies like CBS that are like, oh yeah, if you have cable, you get access to our online thing. But most people are cutting the cable cord because cable companies are literally Satan. I make jokes about how, oh, EA is a horrible Satan company. Comcast, Time Warner, whatever you want to call them, internet companies like Verizon are literally the worst companies in existence right now. They are horrible. And they do not give... They get shit, but not nearly enough. They control a virtual... No, not virtual. They control a monopoly. They deserve to be destroyed. The government needs to come in and regulate them, force them to compete, seize control of the means of production, well, seize control of the cable lines that they made. It needs to happen, man. I know, America's at this weird place where we don't trust the government, but we also don't trust the corporations. We don't trust anybody. We need to trust the government wants to do us something good and to regulate the cable companies. I know, oh, the government's big. You gotta be careful of big government. And I mean, with Trump in the White House, yeah. But we need regulation of cable companies. We really do. They are the worst. But yeah, where was I going on about that? Oh yeah, Anthem and its bullshit release date stuff. It's bullshit. Yeah, I mean, it's just a Destiny ripoff. I was never gonna buy it because I refuse to buy EA games. I refuse to have the Origin launcher on my PC. I have a lot of people are mad about Metro Exodus, which we'll talk about actually in a minute. I'm not really that annoyed as people get. I kind of get where people are coming from, but, eh. Ugh. But yeah, so, but I refuse, I have Uplay, I have the Fortnite, I have Steam, the Epic Games Launcher, but I refuse to download Origin. I blatantly refuse to do that. So yeah, but on top, so that's why Apex Legends came out. You know, if it was on Switch, I'd probably play it. It actually looks kind of good. But, yeah. But I refuse to do it. Respawn is actually maybe the only good EA developer left. Like, they can make good games. They have made good games. They probably will continue to make good games. I liked Titanfall, the original, even if it did lose me after a while. And Titanfall 2 had a great single-player campaign. So yeah, they're making, again, Battle Royale. My main problem with Battle Royale, and why developers should stop making Battle Royale games, is because why would they play and spend money on your Battle Royale game when they could just play Fortnite for free? That's why paid Battle Royale games are a load of shit, because why would they give you money when they can get Fortnite for free, and then they can get Fortnite money anyways on microtransactions and all that stuff, but because it's free, I have a lot less problem with it. Admittedly, like, I'm not as annoyed with Fortnite having that stuff because it's a free game. Sure, and again, it's skin. I mean, if they had win crates, it'd definitely be a different story, but But yeah, Fortnite, Apex Legends, it looks fine. If it comes to Switch one day, which I think, again, these companies like to make all the money in the world, so I'm assuming the only reason it isn't on Switch is because it needs time to develop. But I could totally see that by, like, E3, Apex will be on it, and I'll give it a try, at least. I did hear that it's only, like, co-op. Like, you need people to, like, play it with, or you need friends to play it with, or something like that, which, yeah, that's gonna be a little harder for me. But, other than that, yeah, no, I heard it's good. I'm loving the internet getting, or, not the internet, just, like, a minority of people getting annoyed that one of the characters is gay. That's really funny, in my opinion. Ah, oh, goddammit, I was hoping I was hidden in the ink. That's hilarious. Which, do all the diversity you want. I mean, yeah, I mean, is it weird that my biggest problem with Overwatch was... Not my biggest problem. God, no, that's... I mean, I've bitched and moaned about Overwatch lack of artistic integrity before. But, sometimes they do it right. Sometimes. So, yeah, but it's funny whenever, like, they do something like that and the internet just gets, like, really pissed. Oh, my God. Was Soldier 76, was that this year or was that last year? I don't remember, but people getting mad about Soldier 76, that was so freaking funny. Because the internet is just a bunch of crybabies, man. You lived this time. Yeah, so yeah, I may play it one day, but I refuse to play it on, because I refuse to install Origin. Which, you know, I might as well just talk about the Epic Games Launcher, just because I thought about it. So, the Epic Games Launcher, it's where I downloaded it to play Fortnite on PC. Fine. It was fine. I know, I get, some people are mad that, oh, they want everything on Steam, right? They want everything localized. And like I said with cable companies, I hate this stratification where, oh, I have to install the Epic Games Launcher if I want to play Fortnite. I gotta install Steam if I want to play Steam. I gotta install Uplay if I want to play Assassin's Creed 4. I gotta install Origin if I want to play SimCity. Why would you play SimCity when City Skylines exists, though? I have to install Bethesda Launcher if I want to play Fallout 76. That can be really annoying, but I don't think it's... On one hand, I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I get where people are coming from, but I also don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm kind of split on it. But, so, Epic Games, they did their whole gaming thing, which, was Epic Games crossplay on this, or was that was last month, wasn't it? That was last month where I talked about Epic Games crossplay, which we will be, we'll talk about a little bit. We haven't got any new developments, but yeah. But yeah, Epic's right there doing their story, and they've been locking down. We saw at the Game Awards, they locked down a bunch of like exclusive games that will be launching first on the Epic Game Store. But one of the recent one that got everybody up in a tizzy was that they announced that Metro Exodus was becoming Epic Games exclusive. It wasn't decided by whatever studio makes Metro Exodus, but by the company that makes by like the company that owns the developer of Metro Exodus, I guess. And there was this whole thing about like, oh, how the guy was mad about it, how people were shitting on his game, not for his actual game, but for that it was on the Fortnite launcher. Which, yeah, people can be babies. I don't think it's that. Again, the part of me is like, oh, people are blowing this way out of proportion. I don't think owning another launcher to play Metro Exodus, and I know, oh, it's not a straw man argument. It's what's that called? Where it's like, oh, when does it end? Right? Oh, if every developer starts having their own launcher, it's a God. What is that called? It's it's like the argument, like, it's the exception argument, that, oh, if I make an exception just this once for one person, I therefore have to make an exception for everybody. So I get where they're coming from, right? Oh, if I make the exception for the Epic Games Store, then yeah. And the Epic Games Store is doing some great stuff. I mean, so they've been giving away, to make people more enticed to get their store, they've been giving away free games. Kind of like if you had Xbox Live or PS Plus. I would say Switch, but their NES games are full of shit, so yeah. So yeah, that's cool. That's actually really nice, and it's trying to get people on board with the store, because I already had it installed for Fortnite from like a year ago. It's not been maybe it's been a year, honestly, but because I already had the Fortnite launcher installed, I was like, I could boot up the store and get. They did What Remains of Edith Finch, which I already owned. But hey, What Remains of... So I literally have 2 copies of it now on 2 stores. What Remains of Edith Finch is an amazing game. Oh my god, if you got it during the Epic Games free thing, it was totally 1000% worth your money. It's a great game. Well, I mean, it's worth being free. Well, I mean, it's worth money, but you get my point. Like, if you got it for free, you were... Oh my god, it's a great game. They gave away the first Jackbox Party Pack, which I also already own, but hey, it's nice to have another copy of it. Just, I think yesterday, they started with Axiom Verge, which... Axiom Verge is a game I have not played, because again, I wasn't really a Metroidvania fan until last year. But I've seen some gameplay of it, and it is good from what I've heard. So that's cool to have Axiom Verge on there. And then the next one is Thumbleweed Park, which I've heard of but never played. Something interesting about Axiom Verge is that I guess the game was not working because it was missing like a Steam file or something like that. That's funny. But someone was complaining about it and it's like, oh, if you're mad, the game is free. I gotta figure out what that's about. I'll be back. Alright. God, I've got on like... I went and got some more water, but I'm also got on like 1,000 side tangents. Let's switch over to Pro. So, Oh, God. Okay, let's do... Let's do that. Let's do the... Yeah, sure, let's do these ones. So, I talked earlier about how I think a Direct was canceled. Why? I don't know. There are rumors, however, of a Direct coming up next week. Because, of course, we're going to get our hopes up like that. Because, of course, we are. Nintendo fans are masochists at the end of the day. They like Nintendo kicking their face into the dirt. With the temptation of a Direct every month or whatever. Sometimes, I'll admit, they can be insufferable sometimes. But even if we didn't get a Direct, we still got tons of information that was basically like a Direct. There's tons of little things I'm overlooking, but on like the larger scale, we got the Piranha Plant DLC for Smash Bros. That was really cool, actually. It just kind of... I was expecting it to come out next Friday, right? The 15th, that's when the Amiibo comes out. I was like, oh, it's going to come out the same day. Instead, it came out on, I want to say, the 29th of January? For no apparent reason, I might say. But hey, it's cool that it just kind of happened like that, you know? Why not? And again, I think there was a Direct that was going to happen, but then got canceled because of the Smash Bros. Thing. Or then got canceled, which again, I'm saving Metroid Prime for like maybe one of the last stories, anyways, because we're also going to talk about like Project Hammer and whatnot. But yeah, Piranha Plant got that reveal. That was good. There was an investors meeting, which yeah, we'll talk about, I guess. At this investors meeting, of course, so Nintendo wanted to sell 20 million Switches in the 2018-2019 physical year, which I don't think it ends until either March or April. I want to say April. But so far they've sold 15 million, and so they told their investors, "Oh, we're lowering it to 17." Which, yeah, okay, that's reasonable. I honestly I know like analysts, which I hate analysts. I think they're so full of shit. I'm specifically talking about games analysts. I just think they're full of shit, and they seem to be wrong more often than not. But yeah, the analysts were like, oh, they're never going to hit that. They've come pretty close. I mean, 15 million is a lot of Switches. My brother is now one of them. Since we've last done it, my brother bought a Switch. I mean, he hasn't really played anything on it besides Isaac, but hey, he'll play stuff eventually. But yeah, I think it's stupid, man. Like, yeah, of course you expect their stock to fall, like I talked about with the A. It's the song and dance, and yeah, I wouldn't expect it any other way. Sadly, I want it another way, I might add, but of course that was never gonna happen. God damn it, I couldn't retake that position. But yeah, so the Switch sold 32 million, and we also got the announcement of so they're working on a Mario mobile game, or a Mario Kart, mobile game, which we knew about. But they've announced that Mario Kart mobile game has been delayed to summer, which I don't really care about the Mario Kart, whatever. I mean, the Fire Emblem mobile game was good, even if, like every other turn-based tactical RPG, I didn't really play it that much, which we'll talk about Wargroove. And so they announced a delay on the Mario Kart one. I never played the Animal Crossing mobile game. Okay, I played it a little, but I just stopped giving a shit. And then it got loot boxes. I think that was the first real episode of Splat and Chat. The second one was when we talked about the loot boxes for Animal Crossing. Maybe it was the third. Ew, I don't remember. But yeah, so I don't really care about the Animal Crossing one. There's that Dragalia Lost I've never played. And I feel like there's one other that I'm just... Mario Run, I've never played. I've never bought it. I've always meant to. Like, I wish it went on, like, sale at some point. That would be cool. Yeah, the Mario Kart one, I don't know how they're going to do a Mario Kart game, so I don't care. But instead they announced a Dr. Mario World, which is, I'm presuming, so if like the Fire Emblem game was Nintendo's take at like all those JRPGs I see ads on YouTube for all the fucking time, if that was their attempt at that, this Fire Emblem, the Dr. Mario World is presumably their take on, is it Candy Crush? I've never played Candy Crush. My mother does. The closest I've ever gotten to playing a mobile game like that is Clash of Clans, which, you know, I kind of enjoyed for a while, even if it did lose me. Okay, it definitely lost me at some point. Even the spin-off, the Clash Royale, which I thought was a little better. Not better, but it was more interesting. It eventually devolved to bullshit again, because they had like these legendaries, and I only ever got maybe one legendary, but my brother had like all of them without spending money, I might add. That's important. And it was just, you needed the legendaries to win, and I just couldn't get any, so I eventually gave up on them. And then they have the new one. Yeah, no, the mobile game market's a hellhole. I wouldn't expect it any other way. Well, I'm talking about like our current situation. But yeah, so they're doing a Dr. Mario World. We know nothing about it. It's presumably coming sooner. Sure, I guess. It's I'll download it, of course. I'll play it for like a week, and then I'll never touch it again. God, I'm surprised he killed me. But yeah, so those were that. Shit, I did not mean to. Where was I going with that? Yeah, I think there's the Direct next week. Rumored anyways. I'm down for a Direct next week. Sure, if they want to do it. There's other Nintendo stuff I'm forgetting. Oh, of course, they always say, oh, there are games coming out in 2019 that we haven't even announced yet, which, yeah, of course, that's usually how Nintendo plays the ball recently. Yeah. I don't know what to expect, admittedly. I don't know. I mean, one of them I'm pretty sure is Retro's game, but other than that, I'm just waiting. I'm hoping in the next Direct we get, I want Luigi's Mansion, I want Animal Crossing, man. We gotta actually see it. Which, oh yeah, so there's also rumors going around about the, release dates for certain games. Which, so there's one I don't remember. There are 3 rumored release dates. One I don't remember. One that is, I want to say it's Luigi's Mansion is rumored to have a, I want to say it's like a July release date. That's the rumor. It's like a middle of July, which is kind of weird, especially because it's a spoopy game. I know some people are hit and miss with Luigi's Mansion. They love the first one, but they hate the second one. They love the second one, and they've never played the first one. Personally, I think I like the first one. I play it every Halloween, more or less. The second one I also really like. I know it gets a lot of shit for being level-based and not about exploration, but I thought that was fine. There's some good level design in there. And I mean, the first one is arguably linear anyways. It's just, there were some interesting locations. It was varied. I thought it was a fine game. I didn't even know people were giving it shit until like, maybe it was last year? I mean, no, probably 2 years ago now. Way after it released that people like didn't like it. It was fine. And people, assuming the third one's probably going to go back to the style of the original, that'll make people happy. But yeah, I'm fine with it either way. Cool, whatever. I just thought of something. But yeah, and then Animal Crossing. So there was a rumor going around that Animal Crossing had a release date of April 19th. Or was it 20? It was April 29th. That was one rumor that was going around. And that's been all but debunked at this point. So the next rumor is that it's coming out September... Is it September 15th? Sometime in the middle of September. Probably not the 15th, but sometime in the middle of September. Which that sounds... I would love that April release date. It's too soon, because again, we know nothing about it, and that's, what, 4 weeks away? That's way too soon for a, That's way too soon to know about the game and then have it released 2 months. Little more than 2 months, probably. That's way too soon, so that was never gonna happen, even though I would have loved it. Because I think Animal Crossing is a spring game. Whenever I play it, I remember New Leaf, I want to say, came out in May. And whenever I got City Folk, it was also in, like, the summertime. So I think that's fine. I was like, oh, that'd be a cool release date. Hey, look, it was the Animal Crossing man himself, Josh Thomas. So yeah, I thought that could have been fine. Of course, it was never going to happen. The next release date we got was, what is it? Oh yeah, September. That's probably what it's gonna be. I doubt it's gonna be a November game. That's too far in. It's either gonna have that September release date, or it's gonna fit into around Odyssey's release date. Those are both reasonable, I think. I personally, yeah, I like the idea of a September release date. So that's what I'm rooting for. Even though I'd love that April, man. I would love. The sooner the better. But of course, there's always like, oh, what is going to stay the same? What are they going to change? There are some New Leaf was amazing. So there's a lot of aspects from New Leaf that they do have to retain. But other than that, there's some new aspects. Again, I just said Josh Thomas. I loved his balloon aspect. I love his fishing shop aspect. Those are both great ideas that I think would be a lot of fun. They could go anywheres with it at this point. This is their side of the base, isn't it? It's just a matter of time seeing where they go with it, where they take it. But hey, I'm excited. Hopefully we'll find out about it again. If there's a direct next week, hopefully we'll know. I don't expect us to get a release date. Just 2019, hopefully. Yeah. And yeah, oh god, there's also, so Christy V, what, I don't remember her name off the top of my head, was talking about how she's working on something new, and there's kind of been these joke hints that it's about Smash Bros. There's also this whole thing with Microsoft and Smash Bros. So there's all these rumors about, oh, Shantae. I think the Microsoft thing is definitely going to happen with Banjo-Kazooie or Steve from Minecraft. I think either one of those two, probably Steve, which I think is a fine choice. I know some people don't like it because they're inherently against Minecraft, but I think it's a fine choice. But yeah, something's gonna happen. Let's talk about Minecraft. Sure. Where is that? So Fortnite right now is the biggest game in the world. Well, okay, so that's what it seems like. It's definitely the most talked about. But player-wise, it was revealed, I think, early this month, end of last month, that Minecraft still has more players. Fortnite has, like, 50 million, and Minecraft has, like, 90 million active players, or something like that. So Minecraft is still the king. I know on the list of games, it says that Tetris is the most sold game of all time. That's bullshit, because it counts literally every version of Tetris ever made, whether it be the original Tetris on the Game Boy, Tetris Attack on the SNES, or Tetris Effect on the PS4. It counts them all as one game, which is a load of shit. So Minecraft is, as far as you're should be concerned, is the most sold game of all time. But there's been this trend recently that now that Fortnite's the top shit, Minecraft is now good again. So I always say, after the release of Minecraft on consoles, Xbox 360 and PS3, I think, Minecraft became generally popular and became popular with kids. And since then, the internet, the general internet, probably the silent minority, or the vocal minority, has just shit on Minecraft. Made fun of it, hated it, talked about how, oh, it's a kid's game. It's a game made for children and babies. They've always been full of shit. Their argument is inherently flawed. It's super fucking annoying. But now that Fortnite is the big shit, they're now making fun of Fortnite as a game for babies and whatnot. And, you know, I said this in the Game of the Year thing. I think Fortnite is a fine game. I think the Battle Royale gimmick is inherently fun. I really did enjoy PUBG until it lost me eventually. And I don't play it anymore. I don't play Fortnite. I don't play any of those Battle Royale games. Even though I have been willing to give Fortnite a chance in the past. But the thing is, we're giving, now that Fortnite's popular, there's all these posts where it's like, oh, I'm so glad I grew up playing Minecraft and not Fortnite. It's the same fucking idea. God, the internet is just an endless hypocrisy. And at some point this month, I just snapped. It's just so full of shit. I'm so done with the internet, man. Just because something's popular, especially with kids, the internet just has to give it just unending shit. Which is really just, it's so fucking full of shit. Minecraft is a fine, it's a great game, but now that we're making it popular again because of Fortnite, yeah, that's cool to see. I'm glad that it's finally, it's not back in the mainstream conscious. I mean, it always has been, but now it seems, because Fortnite's getting shit, it seems to be accepted again. There's also this whole thing that now, I saw this specifically referring to Dota 2. Where now that Dota 2 is popular, all the kids who played Dota 2 have stopped playing Dota 2 and instead have been playing Fortnite. So now the Dota 2 community is a lot less kid-based, and this is making Dota 2 fans happy, and Dota 2 fans are like, oh yeah, Fortnite's a great game because it got all the kids to leave Dota. Which, yeah, again, the internet's just so full of shit and hypocrisy. I hate it. I mean, they are technically right, and I don't have a problem. I mean, if you like it now that your kids are gone, whatever. Who gives a shit? But yeah, I'm so tired of the internet's bullshit on things of popularity. Anything that's in the mainstream must be hated. And it's all a vocal minority, but God, that minority is fucking loud. I'm just tired, man. I'm so fucking tired. Yeah. Ugh, God. You know, oh shit, that's wrong. You know, let's just go into that next. So, okay, so I guess not CES, it's GDC, the Game Developers Conference. There were some postings going about what's going to happen at the GDC. And one of the things was Microsoft talking about how they're moving Xbox Live onto other platforms, such as iOS, Android, and most importantly, the Switch. That's really interesting and has a lot of fascinating connotations to it because it's a Nintendo product. Why would you bringing Xbox Live to it? Why would Nintendo be okay with that? Technically, they're competitors. Even though, so right now, Sony's top shit. They're right under, I want to say it's 80 million. It's probably more than 80 million at this point, which is good numbers. And I mean, Sony's a better developer than Microsoft, technically. But one of the things, but Microsoft and Nintendo have kind of been working together and against PlayStation. Microsoft, I talked about, people have been talking about how Microsoft, they've given up on winning this generation of console wars. I mean, they're putting out what? They put out, 2 games last year? They put out 2 years ago, they put out Super Lucky's Tale and, Halo Wars 2. Last year, they put out State of Decay and probably something else. This year, Sea of Thieves last year. This year, I don't even know what they're putting out. I don't know. Crackdown, and there's probably one other thing. Microsoft barely puts out any first-party games. Which don't get me wrong. Not every developer can be a Nintendo, but Sony, Nintendo puts out almost one every month to every other month. Or Sony did a good job. I mean, yeah, they're going bigger budgets and whatnot. Not every developer can be like them, but God, that's just sad, man. But Microsoft is trying to hitch off Nintendo, and you could argue Nintendo's also enjoying benefits from the other way, where it's, hey, you can, if you want a home console, you can get a Xbox, and if you want a portable console, you can get a Switch, even though, again, the Switch is both. I totally get where Xbox is going with that. I totally get why... Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Shit. That. I totally get why Xbox is doing what they're doing. But yeah, so they're putting Xbox Live on Switch, which I am, in theory, fine with. My idea... So, I talked last month about how Epic Games is launching their own program or system, or whatever you want to call it, to get Xbox games on your... or to get... So, Epic Games is making the system... So that way you can play Epic Games. It's a cross-platform system. If you're a developer who wants to make cross-platform games, well, Epic Games provides you the infrastructure, and I want to say it's free if you're using Unreal Engine, and all you have to do is make the game. Which Rocket League also finally got its cross-play access, which I will always give Fortnite credit for for finally being the game that was big enough to push cross-platform play to all consoles. I mean, it's never going to happen to Minecraft, but it's good that it's happening to Rocket League. It is. I'm down for it. Even if I have my problems with Rocket League, i.e. how they're ripping off Fortnite's Battle Pass, even though it's a game I already paid like $20 for. No, there's it should not have a Battle Pass. Rocket League devs, you're getting greedy. You're becoming a AAA bullshit developer. You're getting greedy. I paid money for your game. If you want to do Battle Pass, go free to play and give the incentives to people who have been playing for a long time. Which, yeah, I'll admit, I say that, but I haven't played Rocket League in years. But it's still a load of shit. You know I'm right. Fortnite only gets away with it because it's a free-to-play game. That's it. That is it. Oh, you know what else I was mad at? So I guess Fortnite added, like, bounce pads that also work as, like, note blocks? And people were mad about that, like, oh, how dare you stood where he once stood, comparing the note block to the Fortnite thing. God, again, I hate the fucking internet. But yeah, back to Xbox Live. My guess is that it's doing the same. They're using it, it's like, oh, you can play with your Xbox friends, but it's specifically made not so that way you can... I wonder if, you know how, like, if you create a Nintendo account, you can create it using, like, Twitter, or... I mean, Google is, I think, the one I used for mine, but you can use Twitter or any other number of resources. I wonder if Xbox is just gonna... They're gonna become one in the... Not one in the same, but you could use your Xbox account to make your Nintendo account. I wonder if they're gonna work together like that. But, because one of the problems with the Switch's online infrastructure is... Besides for all the, like, the voice chat bullshit and the Splatoon app and all that bullshit, which they are adding more games to. One of the things I hate is that there's no, like, way to message your friends or anything like that. They need something like that. When Xbox may provide that if they put Xbox Live on the Switch, but it's a cross-platform thing. So that way you could, like, put your game on Xbox, Switch, iOS, Android, PC, obviously, not Sony. Sony will probably be the one exception because, again, they're still a bunch of butthurt babies. But, so that way, oh, let's say you make a game and you put it on Xbox, Switch, and PC, and it has crossplay. Well, you use Microsoft's infrastructure, so that way you could have all your friends join with their Microsoft account, and that way you could do crossplay. That's how I'm interpreting them doing it, and that's an idea I really like. I think that's a nice way to do it, where it's one account, kind of, again, like another Steam or an Epic Games launcher. It's just one account that leaks up everything for crossplay. I think it can work. That's where I hope they're going with it. We'll find out in a few months. I mean, it's not so far away, relatively speaking. Alright. And then I've got one small topic, and then we've got the last two big topics, and then we'll call it there. I feel like this one's been going a lot shorter than most episodes of Splat Channel. It's actually feel like a very long episode, but we've only been here an hour. But so the other thing is Machinima. There's also a bunch of stuff about Defy that I admittedly do not know that much about, but their situation sucks. I'll totally admit that. But so Machinima finally shut down And when it shut down, well, before they even shut it down, the first thing they did was they removed every video ever made by Machinima. Which, yeah, I was a Machinima fan. There were some series I loved. One of my favorite, I want to say, there was, what was it? It wasn't a Control-Alt-Delete ripoff, was it? Well, not Control-Alt-Delete, that's what I'm just thinking of. But there was an entire show where it was Immortal HD and Dexter Manning. That was really fun. Happy Hour. There was a bunch of good animation stuff on Happy Hour I really enjoyed. Oh my god, I just thought of... Was that Machinima? I just thought of a series that may be deleted forever, because I think that was Machinima. I doubt anybody remembers it. Holy shit, I will never see that again. Because I doubt anyone backed it up. Holy shit, I'm not going to actually name it because it doesn't matter. Holy crap, that was Machinima, wasn't it? Oh my god. I hadn't even thought about that until just this moment. But Machinima got shut down, and Happy Hour, there was this whole thing about Uncle Lou that was really funny. My favorite episode, which I actually looked for recently, before the shutdown even, and it had already been deleted, they did an entire episode on Wii Fit. That was just hilarious. But yeah, that got shut down. I remember a Hear No Movie, See No Movie with, I know it was Kale Anonymous for sure. I don't remember who else it was. It could have been someone else. But that was a show I loved the gimmick of. They only ever made like 4 episodes. Great gimmick though. But the main one was ETC. ETC News, I mean, most of their content was deleted a while ago, but the rest of it just got deleted recently. Great, their news, they're great. They're just really good. They just, a lot of fun, good stuff. Right now they do Internet Today. I highly recommend Internet Today. Great content, man. Yeah, they're the ones who I've been watching for years, and all their content is gone. I guess somebody downloaded it and re-uploaded all of it. Which, yeah, I'm glad the internet can do that sometimes. But now all of Machinima is gone. I remember a Machinima, like a news show that... I don't think I eventually replaced it with The Know. But yeah, it sucks that a lot of these video startups, like Defy, like Machinima, like Maker, where they're just millions of dollars. They're just literally made to be sold one day. I mean, Defy sold for, I want to say, like... It's probably even more, but I want to say it was like $500 million to Disney, and then they lost like all of their creators. And then there's the whole Defy thing with them. All the money was being given to them, and they put them in their banks, which made the companies look impressive. But then they never actually paid their creators, or something like that. Again, I don't actually know, but that's it isn't a pretty situation, man. You know. I remember back in the day, because you used to... I've done YouTube for, I think I'm in year 9 now. 9 years. And I know to be big, you had to do a multi-channel network. Nowadays, multi-channel networks are the devil. Nobody joins them, and you should never join them. They're all dying, and yeah, I totally get it. I totally get it. But yeah, it sucks to lose Machinima. I didn't. I know they were the devil to work for at some points. They were signing people to literal lifetime contracts. But there was some good content there. There was some stuff I really enjoyed. And it sucks to see it all go. I know some people will have some stuff downloaded. But like the series that I keep thinking of and am not naming. I might as well say it was a Minecraft Machinima. I think it was made by Machinima anyways. I doubt anybody backed it up. It will probably never see the light of day again, which sucks. Oh shit, I should have blasted it. But yeah, I'm gonna miss them for what they did. I'm glad people like Ricky and Elliot and ETC and are still around. Chibi, I know Kale still does stuff. God, what was her name? There was another. Was it Chloe? I don't remember. There were a bunch of people that I loved back in the day that I used to watch. That really the only ones I still watch anymore are ETC. Yeah, I'll miss them. So before we get to our big and final topic, I might as well say what I've been playing this past month. It's honestly not been that much, admittedly. Especially, like, this week, I didn't play anything. I have not... I picked up... So, the first one I might as well start off with is Wargroove. I personally do not like real-time strategy games. Or not... It's not... I mean turn-based strategy. They're just not my style of game. But I want to like turn-based strategy. I want to like games like XCOM, or... The big one for me is Fire Emblem. There's a new Fire Emblem. Oh, yeah, I didn't even talk about that. That may have gotten a rumored release date as well. Which, that April release date I was talking about, I could see that being Fire Emblem Three Houses release date. I really could. I feel like that game needs a lot less build-up time than others. But hey, that's just me. Shit, I wanted to... But yeah, so I want to like turn-based strategy, but I've never been able to. Which, why do we... I feel like whenever people talk about turn-based strategy, the first one everyone brings up is XCOM nowadays. Why does nobody talk about Fire Emblem? Fire Emblem is turn-based strategy. Yes, it has RPG and dating sim elements in it. But it is most definitely a turn-based strategy. But nobody ever talks about it like it is. I don't get it. But with the Fire Emblem, I refuse to buy the Fire Emblem, the new Fire Emblem, until I beat either... Because I bought both Awakening, Fates, and Echoes. I played all of them, never beat one of them. I refuse to buy the new Fire Emblem until I at least beat one of them. Hopefully, whatever, not Fates, hopefully, Awakening. Awakening's the one I want to beat. Because, again, I like the idea of the genre, I just can never get into it. But I bought Wargroove because, you know, I'm an idiot. I've played it maybe twice, and I will admit, it's not that my main problem is not that I don't like the games, which I kind of don't. And I'm not talking about Wargroove, I'm talking about the genre in general, the turn-based strategy. My main problem is that once I put it down, it's hard for me to pick up again. That's the same thing with RPGs. Once I put down an RPG, like what I've done with Xenoblade, I started playing it in, I want to say, August? I played it for like a few weeks, and then I just haven't picked it up since. I am horrible. I am horrible. But I want to like it. I want to like RPGs. I want to like turn-based. What I've played of Wargroove, I have really liked. Do I have problems? Yes, my biggest one, actually, so far, which, again, I'm still very early on in it, is that so whenever you, like, select a character to see, like, what its criticals are and all that shit, its weaknesses, its strengths, is indicated by little, like, pictures of the enemy. I don't like that. That's not good enough. I wish it, like, just told you the name of the enemy instead of, like, a little picture. They have confirmed, though, that they are adding that in the next update. So, yeah, that's cool to see. Hopefully that'll come sooner rather than later. But that's probably one of my biggest problems right now with it. Again, fairly early on. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of greatness to it. Hopefully I'll be able to get into it. I didn't even mention Advanced Wars, which it is heavily inspired by, I guess. I have never played Advanced Wars. I know people love that series, and I know for sure they want a new one, but I've literally never played an Advanced Wars game. I may one... I'm trying to... I've talked about this before, how I'm slowly building up my game collection on old systems. Like there's a few Wii games like Punch-Out that I never owned on the Wii that I am currently trying to buy. Again, in and out when I have money or free time. Like, I'm not gonna buy any this month because of freaking Amiibos. And I already spent $20 on Wargroove, which is probably the only game I'm buying this month, admittedly. Unless Wander Song goes on sale, which it's on sale on Humble Bundle, but if it goes on sale on Switch, I will definitely buy it. But yeah, it's stuff I want to like, man. But yeah, with the games. So my big contribution to my game thing this month was I had like a $5 credit or whatever on eBay. So I was like, you know, I've been wanting to buy... So my Game Boy Advance, I had a purple one, like, not an the original, not the SP or anything. It's, back cover, battery cover, I guess. it broke. It hasn't had a working battery cover in 10, 15, probably closer to 15 years. I finally bought it a battery cover. That's my big contribution to my gaming collection. All these years later, it was like $2-3. Again, I didn't pay $1 for it because I had a coupon. But I'm glad I finally got myself a battery cover. That's been something that's been long needed. But I was looking at Advanced Wars. I hear GameStop might be going under soon. Again, it's all speculation and rumor. But if it is, I don't know if that means I should like hold off for like the sales when they go under, if they do, or if I should just like start buying stuff now so that way it doesn't get like it's all gone by the time I like want to get it. Because I mean, there are some games that GameStop just doesn't have because of their rarity and whatnot. There are some that I'm able to get for really cheap. So we'll see, we'll see. But yeah, I'm liking Wargroove so far. I haven't played. I played it like twice this week. I'm just so freaking busy. I'll probably play it a little more this weekend. The main one I played though in the weeks leading up to that. So I'm going backwards chronologically here because why not? Was Golf Story. Golf Story is okay. So this came out like early on into the Switch's lifespan back in 2017, and I was interested in it. But I just didn't pick it up. I think there were other games coming out at the time, and I was busy. And then it eventually got announced that it was getting a physical release, and I was like, ooh, I'll buy the physical release. I just never bought the physical release. I just didn't. I couldn't. I don't know. But then at the very end of last year, maybe very early on in this year, it went on sale, and I was like, you know, that's just cheap enough for me to get it. Even though I have still not... Oh, another Into the Breach. Into the Breach is a game that scares me. It scares me. I'll play it eventually. I bought Wargroove and started playing Wargroove, but I've owned Into the Breach for 2 months now and haven't even touched it. December. All of December. Yeah, 2 months. That game scares me, man. That game really scares me. But yeah, I started playing Golf Story. I'm also fairly early on into it because I've been doing a lot, been busy with school. But I had more free time like 2 and 3 weeks ago than I did this week, and I really enjoy it. It's so charming. The mechanics are simple to figure out. When I was way younger, my grandfather's a golfer. So, of course, my father is too... Yeah, no, my father is as well. So they tried to get me into it. And at first I was on board, but eventually I just got tired of it. But I still kind of like it. I don't like watching it, admittedly. But I think playing it, I mean, it's not that bad. I like golfing in Wii Sports. So, yeah, I'm in favor of golf games. I remember, was it Wii Sports Club had a bingo golf? That seemed like a fun idea. That was a fun idea. But yeah, I have been enjoying Golf Story so far. It's really charming. It really is. I'm liking it. I again need to play more. I'm still early on into it, but it's really fun so far. And it's just because I'm busy and well, Wargroove came out. But I will play more of it. I will. Hopefully I'll beat it by the end of the year. It's a lot of fun, super charming game. Next up, I have, going back, this was early on in the year, Kuso. So the developer made the game. It's a platformer like your Celeste or your Shovel Knights or whatnot. It reminds me more of Celeste because it uses a very simple art style. But the developer, it was his birthday, so he decided to put it's normally like $5. So, but on, I want to say Switch and Steam, he decided to put the game on sale for $1. I don't really use the gold points on Switch. I don't really do that. I don't know why. I used to love Club Nintendo, but their current reward system is bullshit. We all know it is. But, so it was, okay, I have 99 gold coins. I can just buy it with that. And it's good. He's also I want to say he also made another game called Love that's also coming out on Switch soon, so... Even though Kuso may also contain love, from what I can tell, it's hard to tell. It's short-ish, but I haven't beaten it yet. There are some things I really like. I like the unlimited lives, even though there are different difficulty modes. And it's the good kind of difficulty sliders, where it's not like, oh, we're going to make the jumps harder, or we're going to make the enemies do more damage, even though there are no enemies. But it's like, oh, do you want to set a check? It's where you set your own difficulty. It's got the Ori, Pori, Pudding, and Pie thing, where you set your own checkpoints. But unlike Ori, Pori, and Pudding, and Pie, there's not like, you don't have to like use your magic meter. You can just do it at any point. So that's one way you can set your own difficulty. There's also, you can also choose before you start the game to do a life system, but that's completely optional. You don't have to. You can just do unlimited lives, which is the way I like to play platformers. I think life systems are archaic and a way of the past. I did an entire rant in a Mega Man review that never actually got finished. I've been slacking on videos all this week, man. I had a video filmed. It's like 20 minutes long that I just couldn't get around to editing. I am the worst. But yeah, Kuso's really good. It's like $5, but it was on sale because of the developer's birthday. I think it's worth it. I don't know if it'll ever go on sale for as cheap as it did that one day, but I am not doing good. So Minecraft, like I was talking about earlier, I have been playing a little more Minecraft. I have a world where I'm kind of like where it's my like achievement world, I guess. And I've been slowly chipping away at it since the Bedrock edition came out. And I'm super annoyed that I can't find bamboo. I wanted to get some bamboo. I searched like 1,000 by 1,000 block jungle. Maybe it was probably even bigger than that. And I just could not find any bamboo. I found some pandas, but they didn't drop any bamboo. I didn't even think about killing them, admittedly, to get them. They just updated it. They added crossbows. They may have added illagers and whatnot. Yeah, no, I do have some problems with the Bedrock edition. Like, I wish there were some stuff like that was on PC that I wish would come over. Like, it's crazy. You think that it would be more universal by this point, but it really isn't. I'm specifically talking about the Java edition. I still really enjoyed it. I finally beat the Wither. That was the one thing. I think I've talked in the past about how I fought the Ender Dragon. I hated the Ender Dragon, man. God, how it killed me 1,000 times and it spawned 3 of them. I've showed that clip on one of these planchets in the past. But the big thing that happened was so I'm fighting the Wither. My strategy to fight the Wither has always been to go underground. Because underground, the Wither, he's just easier to kill underground, in my opinion. So I go underground, I get him down to half health. The Wither is one of the hardest bosses in Minecraft. It really is. But, of course, there's all these changes in Minecraft that I just don't know about. And they keep blindsiding. The Ender Dragon's a great one. But they decided to make the Wither harder, even though it's the hardest boss in the game, by making it so that when you fight the Wither, when it gets down to half health, it now... It's probably been doing this for a long time now, but the last time I fought it in like the Switch version, it didn't do this, where it spawns a bunch of Wither skeletons. And of course, the Wither skeleton... I'm easily able to kill the Wither, get it down to half health, but then the Wither skeletons fucking obliterate me. The Wither blows up all of my armor. I had a full set of Diamond Enchanted. Go back in with another set of Diamond Enchant. And maybe some Diamond and some Iron. Some of it was enchanted. Lose that set. Then I'm finally able to kill it. It was such a load of shit. Oh my god, I hated it. There was no reason to make that boss harder. It was already hard as is. I lost everything to it. I hate this game sometimes, man. I really hate that. Oh my god. But I got my beacon. I'm slowly working way, getting full tower. I've been trying to figure out if I should do it out of iron or gold. Just because I've raided multiple, what are those things called? The underwater things? You know, so they keep making, the bosses harder. The Wither's been hard for a while now, but you get... Or the Ender Dragon, I mean, but I don't know, there's something super annoying about it. People who say it's easy are full of shit, is what I'm trying to say. But, they made the Wither harder, they made the End harder, but they've made the, underwater temples easier? Because now you can, if you place one of these, like, underwater beacons, I don't remember what they're called, it just makes the temple a fucking joke. It's so easy to go through because it gives you unlimited water breathing. It's a joke, man. What else was there? Oh, the Woodlawn Mansions also aren't as hard as I thought they would be. Like, I thought maybe one pillager in the entire thing. Super disappointing. Super disappointing. Yeah, and then at the very beginning of the year, while listening to my podcast, I have not listened to the Adventure Zone in almost a month. I'm working my way through Amnesty. I'm in, what arc am I in? I might be in a Lunar Interlude right now, admittedly. I think I want to say episode 17. I think I'm in, like, a Lunar Interlude, though. Or whatever their interludes are called. No, I'm not. I'm at the, spoilers, I guess. They're doing the Mothman. I think he had just got out of conversation with the Mothman. I'm at I just did Live in Atlanta, episode 16, so I was one off, but they did the Mothman, there was the tram crash, I think that's where I'm at, post-tram crash, again, spoilers. It's, Amnesty's not hooking me as much as Balance did, but I still enjoy it. I'm still enjoying it. There's some new I was recommended by a friend some new D&D podcasts, so I'm gonna check those out. Well, I use friend with quotes. But yeah, I'm almost caught up. I need to sit down and play it, or just listen to it while playing Wargroove. But I played Stardew Valley. I'm in my third year, and I had a kid finally. Took me far too long to have a kid in that game. I don't know why, but I've got one now. And yeah, I'm just kind of working, doing the grind, just kind of getting to the end of the third year. Well, a lot of things happened at the beginning of the third year. Like, I finally completed the season. I think I'm in summer. I'm in summer of the third year because I finally completed the community center, and I did that. I almost have every fish. I think I talked about this, how I was they added the multiplayer update, but when I started playing it, the multiplayer update added the night market, but as part of that, when I started booted up the game, I was like the day after the night market ended, so I'm missing like the blobfish, but I'm so close to having all the fish, man. That's my main goal. Other than that, I'm trying to complete all the other... God, why am I stuck? I'm trying to complete all the other Collectopedia stuff. I'm so close. I'm missing a few things like Void Mayonnaise and stuff like that. Blue Chicken Egg, I think Blue Chicken Egg's a thing. But I'm getting close, man. I'm getting close to having everything done. Except for the food. I've done none of the food stuff. I've got a lot, not all, but a lot of the museum. I've got a lot of the museum done. I'm getting close to finishing it off by the end of the third year. And then maybe I'll do another save file eventually one day, not anytime soon, where I do a cooking world where I just focus on the cooking. Because I have not given a shit about the cooking. I'll fully admit that. I don't know, it's just kind of a natural thing that happened. Yeah, we'll see. I've also been watching a lot of videos on Stardew Valley, just kind of I'll definitely talk about them when I do the YouTubers of the Year thing. But definitely, I think it's defiantly funny. Sometimes he's hit or miss for me, but he's done some good Stardew stuff. And then what else? Yeah, I think that's all I've been playing this year, or this month. Well, and technically this year. Oh, Smash Bros. Duh, Smash Bros. I still enjoy it. I still really enjoy it. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep playing. I didn't actually talk about how... I talked about how it was cool that Piranha Plant just kind of showed up. I didn't actually talk about how they played. Which, there's this whole thing. So, in the Piranha Plant Palantena's conversation, it says be quiet or she'll show up. And a lot of people have taken that as Palantena's saying that Piranha Plant's a girl. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't all plants girls? But there's also this thing where she's in the, if you listen to the actual conversation, she's referring to Verity. But I like the headcanon that Piranha Plant's a girl, because again, I think all plants are girls. God, biology was the class I struggled the most with back in high school. Long time ago. But yeah, no, Piranha Plant is, well, I'm one of those people who's like, yeah, there's always a better roster spot that could have been taken. At the same time, Piranha Plant is really quirky, and I kind of love her for that. So I'm liking Piranha Plant. I'm still kind of trying to get used to it. It's the recovery. Oh my god, that will surprise me. I like the little thing where you jump on it, it'll attack. That's neat. Yeah, I'm gonna have to play it some more. Mostly, I really, again, Wargroove and Golf Story have taken up most of my time this last month. Yeah, no, it's pretty. I'm enjoying it. I'm still enjoying Smash Bros. Still really liking it. And yeah, that's all I've been playing. That really is it. So with this, I think this Shifty Stations is fine. It's okay. It's an okay Shifty Stations. I like the gimmicks of having these platforms taking it over from what is it? It's not Turf War. The Turf War is what we're playing. It's what's the mode called? It's the point control, whatever you want to call point control. Taking the mode from that. Yeah, the map's not too badly designed. It's kind of, I wish there was a better way to get in from this side other than this spot right here. But other than that, yeah, no, I think it's a neatly designed map. It's got a few choke points to it. I wish there was some more verticality to it, or not verticality. I wish there was some better ways to scale it. But other than that, no, I'm enjoying it. It's not bad Shifty Stations. Did I say, so Amiibo come out next Friday. Some of them are already showing up in store shelves, and some people have already been able to buy it. I've seen Ice Climbers. I don't pre-order Amiibo anymore, even though I really should have. Specifically the Piranha Plant. It seems like as if the Piranha Plant is really hard to find at the moment. Next time it goes on, I just got paid a few days ago. So next time I see it go up on sale anyways, I'm going to buy the Piranha Plant. Hopefully, usually GameStop was the easy place to find it, but even GameStop sold out of it. But Nintendo has been doing a good job of stocking Amiibo. I mean, I thought Wolf was going to be super rare, and I bet out of the three, I'd argue it is probably the... Actually, so I thought Wolf was going to be rare, but I've actually been able to walk into a Target and find Wolf. Ridley's everywhere. I think the rare one may actually be the Inkling. I haven't seen the Inkling that much. I've been able to walk into a store and see Ridley and Wolf once. I might as well say I've seen Ridley everywhere. I've seen Wolf at maybe like one Target. But yeah, so I'm interested to see where Piranha Plant's probably going to be hard to find. K. Rool and Ice Climbers, however, seem pretty easy to get. I know they're both available at GameStop. K. Rool's up at one of them at least is up at Best Buy. I haven't checked any other places. Meta Knight also. I've said before, Meta Knight's one of the few Amiibo I'm missing. But it looks like it's going up on sale sometime at Target soon. Target has its inventory, so I'm just kind of keeping an eye out for that, and that's one I'll buy instantly. I'm hoping it goes on sale on the 15th, but I kind of doubt that's going to happen now. But sometime soon. God, there are 3 of them there. It's just a matter of time. But yeah, and that's basically everything I've been doing. Last thing, as I said I was going to do earlier, let's talk about the Lego Movie. Spoiler-free stuff. I think it's good. So, with my history with the Lego movies, I think the first Lego Movie is literally one of the greatest movies of all time, and might just be the best animated movie of all time. I know, it's subjective, of course, but I love the original Lego Movie. I love it to death, man. It's so good. So clever, so well done. Then there was Lego Batman movie, which, also with Lego Movie, it's the movie I've seen the most time in theaters. I saw it 5 or 6 times in theaters. Just through, I went one week, and, I went to see it opening day, then I went and saw it the next week, and then I went and saw it the next week, and then it was my cousin's birthday, and he was like, hey, let's go see the Lego Movie. And I was like, yeah, sure. So yeah, I saw it a bunch. Then then the Lego Batman movie, I saw it like 3 times in theaters. I did Jaded Cinema. I went and saw it twice for Jaded Cinema, which I was still doing at the time. And then I saw it once with my parents. Lego Ninjago, I saw it by myself. I saw it once. Lego Batman was good. It nailed Batman. It's not something unlike the Lego movie where I could totally just pick it up and start watching it now. It was funny when YouTube was doing it for free and it was literally showing up as ads around, I think it was on Black Friday, actually. That was neat. And I'd sit down and watch the entire thing if it just showed up as an ad. Lego Batman movie, I don't have that same desire. It's good. I've seen it since it came out on DVD, I've probably seen it another 2 or 3 more times. I own it, of course. I love it. I love it so much. And yeah, it does some good things. I also own the original Lego movie, obviously. That's what I was referring to. I bought it on DVD. I bought the Batman. Ninjago, I'd actually seen some of the TV show. That's and because it was, again, Lego movie, that's why I went and saw it. It was okay. It was okay. I saw it once in theaters. I liked, I guess, spoilers. It did deviate from the TV show, actually kind of a lot. There were some elements that made it in there, totally, but there were a lot of elements that didn't. Which I know some people are going to be mad about, but it's a kids show. I know they're making it for a more mainstream audience. Still, definitely, it's out of all of them, as you go on, right, the original Lego movie was, they're all kids, but the original Lego movie, I'd argue, is family-friendly. Anyone can watch it and get enjoyment out of it. Lego Batman, having a friends are family vibe, it was definitely more kid-friendly. Ninjago was 100% kid-friendly. I don't think that's bad. I don't. Ninjago was hit and miss. There were some moments I liked. There were some moments I didn't. One of my favorites. My favorite thing about it was Meowthra. Meowthra was hilarious. That was a genius thing. Genius extension of how the world in the Lego movie works. Loved it a lot. And yeah, that's my history with the Lego movies. So I saw the new one, of course, opening night. I'll probably see it again next week. I doubt I'll see it as many times as I did the first 2, but I'll at least see it twice. So it's good. So that tells you how good it is inherently. I was gonna jump back and hit him. What else about it? So I think it's good, but it had an impossible challenge living up to the second one. Or living up to the first one, but I think it did okay. If you want one of my main, I guess. So at first, yeah, it's good. One of the things I was not expecting it to be a musical. So it is definitely more. I'd argue it's the second most family friendly of them all, but it's still most definitely aimed. It's got the musical accent. That definitely reminds me a lot more of a kids movie. Disney does a good job at doing family-friendly musicals, but most other people don't, and yeah, it kind of doesn't. With that being said, Catchy Song has been stuck in my head ever since I saw it. Catchy Song, at first I was like, oh, this is just a retread of Everything is Awesome. And because I actually heard it when they released it on YouTube 2 weeks ago, but now listening it, there are some musicals like Hamilton, for example, you can totally listen to before you see the musical, and it still works. But there are some, I'd argue, Wicked, that you need the context of the musical to make it work better. The Catchy Song and all the songs in the Lego movie are definitely that. They work better within the context of the movie, but then once you're out of the movie, I think you can then enjoy them, which has been Catchy Song for me. I didn't care for it when I heard it beforehand, but now that I've actually seen the movie, I really like it. It is technically a retread of of Everything is Awesome, but which that's kind of how I sum up the entire movie. It's kind of like a retread of the first one, but it's doing just enough different, which gets kind of hit and miss, because I'm not giving spoilers or anything. there are a lot of aspects of it that remind me of the first movie. It feels like if the first movie was done from like a different perspective. I don't want to give away any spoilers, so I don't actually want to say anything about it. But it is good. It has its good moments. It has the good story beats. The animation, the Lego movies just get better and better. The animation wise, this one is the best of it all. How they do the animation for Queen Whatever I Wanna Be is amazing. There are some great moments with it. I love it. There are some twists and turns. There's some real heart. There's still, spoiler alert, I guess, for the first Lego movie. It's still humans are doing it. It is like, and this one's like an actual like time skip. Like 5 years in real life have passed since the first Lego movie, which came out in, I want to say, like February of 2014. So it's February 2019. So it's been 5 years within the universe of the movie, which was definitely the right way to take it. Because you know what I realized while thinking about the second one that I'd never really thought about before? The Lego movies are just the Toy Story movies, but I'd argue probably not. They might be better than the Toy Story movies. Specifically, I mean, because I don't know. I know we love Toy Story 2. The first Toy Story is beloved. I think it's good. I really enjoy it. I love it. But I think the second one is definitely better. The second one I held in higher regards. And yeah, no, honestly, imagine the Lego movies are if they made Toy Story 2. They're the Lego equivalent of Toy Story 2, and they're kinda, in some ways I argue they're better at it. They've got a lot, they do some things definitely, and yes, it is ironic that I bitch and moan personally that Toy Story 3 is literally just Toy Story 2 again, and nobody seems to realize it. Okay, there are a few people, but you get my point. And Lego Movie is kind of arguably doing that as well. But there's just enough difference. Actually, they literally are just doing Toy Story 3 again. Shit. There are some aspects, again, no spoilers, that happen in Toy Story 3 that happen in Lego Movie 2. Shit. But I enjoy. God, I guess I'm a hypocrite. Like whichever one you like. Definitely, if you like Toy Story more than Lego Movie, go ahead. I personally don't, but God. And that's not meaning I'm saying Toy Story 2 is bad. Not at all. God, it's still great. It's definitely one of the best animated movies. Top 10. Toy Story 3 I think is overrated, but now, God damn it, that just complicated everything. I'm still standing by what I said. I still like it, but I am biased. I am 1000% biased. I'm not gonna deny that. Shit, man. But yeah, no, I definitely, if you don't like musicals, and if you're more open to like animation and kids movies, and especially if you like the first Lego Movie, there is definitely a lot here to enjoy. I recommend the Lego Movie too. But if you have those dispositions, if you're one of those people who is biased against animated movies because you refuse to see it as the genre it is and the more mature aspects, God, this freaking guy's Red is driving me crazy. Because they're just spawn camping, and every time I think I knock down the shields, nope, not enough. Ugh. Fudge me, man. I'm still waiting for The Good Place Season 3 to come to Netflix. Oh my god, that show is so good. I've talked about that, right? How I love The Good Place, how I finally started watching it, and it's really good. Now, this loss, my Red just stopped me from going anywhere. So holy shit. God, my throat hurts. Yeah. But yeah, that's all the games that's everything I've been doing this past month, give or take. Again, lot of colleague. Read 1,000 pages a week. Holy shit, it's killing me. And some of it's better than others. Like, I've been reading a lot of Shakespeare. Shakespeare's, I'm liking Shakespeare so far. I've kind of been hit and miss on Shakespeare, especially back in high school, but I'm enjoying it. So my last story, and the big story of the day, is Metroid Prime 4, which I kind of talked about last week in the when we beat Metroid Prime, but I'm gonna go over it all again. So it was revealed at the end. It was revealed again, part of that Nintendo Direct that I think was canceled, that Metroid Prime 4, which I had believed to be coming out this year, is being delayed. They're restarting development. They're moving development over from studio that was never named to Retro. The rumor was that Bandai Namco was working on it, but the other rumor is that, so there are companies, I know Ubisoft does this, I don't know what other ones do, where instead of having one developer work on a game, they have multiple developers work on different aspects of games. I don't really remember seeing this part of Black Belly. I don't think have they redone it? Because usually you start up there. Wow, I don't know why they pushed the spawn back. But yeah, so they were having multiple development studios, teams, whatever you want to call it, work on it. And I guess at some studios, things were going good. At other studios, it was chaos. So they decided to just scrap it. Retro was working on something else. That's why they didn't have them make it originally. But now something's happened with whatever's Retro's was doing, which we'll talk about in a minute. But now, Retro, I guess, pitched the idea for Metroid Prime 4. Nintendo liked it, so now they've shifted over development. Whether or not they're gonna, they say they're restarting from scratch. That makes me wonder, I can believe that, but at the same time, I mean, these studios must have made assets and whatnot that you can use. I mean, it sucks to throw all of that out the window, right? I mean, yeah. But yeah, that's what's going on. It's probably the earliest date I can see. Originally, again, like I said, I was predicting this year. The earliest date I'm seeing now is 21? Which, by that point, we're going to have a new model of Switch. I didn't even talk about that. Okay, just side tangent, might as well. There's rumors that we're getting a new model of Switch this year. Not a Switch XL or anything. The one people are talking most about is a Switch Mini. I totally can see that. Personally, I don't know how they do it. Make a Switch smaller, but still have things like the Joy-Cons and whatnot. But there's been this fan-made stuff about a Switch with a clamshell design. Which, if they're going to do it, it's going to come out around the same time a Pokemon game does, which is going to be around November, which hopefully we'll hear about before E3, Gen 8. I think a clamshell design for a Switch with still detachable Joy-Cons and all that stuff, great idea. Sure, go for it. It's definitely too early for a Switch 2 or a Super Switch or the new Nintendo Switch or whatever bullshit name Nintendo will think of. They will think of a bullshit name, but I'm totally down for a new Switch model. I won't be buying it, of course. I'd consider buying a Super Switch or whatever, but I have no, my current one works fine. But the macro one, I see no reason not to do it before the holiday season. And I've always talked about how usually there's a new version of a portable console before every Pokemon game. It's not universal, but I want to say the DS Lite came out right before Diamond and Pearl, so there's always this commonality to it. So yeah, I can totally see that happening. But back on the Metroid Prime thing. So Retro's working on it, and there's worry that a lot of the developers that made Metroid Prime, that made the original trilogy, I thought we don't have, oh my god, that looks like we had that. I guess they had too much of the middle, I guess? It really does look, from my eyes, that we had that. We have way too much of the middle, in my opinion. That's crazy. But so, I guess a lot of the team that made Metroid Prime no longer works at Retro. They've moved on to other studios. Now that some people say, oh, that means they don't know how to make good games anymore. But I don't think that's true, because since then they've made the Donkey Kong Country games, and the Donkey Kong Country games are really good. So Retro still knows what they're doing. Of course. So the comparison I'd use is Rare. When one of the worries, this is the thing people worry about. When Rare was working for Nintendo, they made all their great games, right? But then they go into the GameCube era, and they make Star Fox Star Fox. Is it Assault? Star Fox Planet, the one with Crystal, the one that people hate, the Zelda ripoff. And that was originally Dinosaur Planet. So they make that game, But there's a lot of bad blood between Rare and Nintendo. Like, they start getting mad at each other, and then Rare sells themselves off to Microsoft. Because, again, Microsoft tries to buy Nintendo and fails, so instead they settle for Retro. But a lot of the staff that was at Retro leaves Retro to start doing other stuff. I mean, the main one is the ukulele thing that everyone thinks about. Ukulele was not great. I mean, I don't think it's like the Spawn of Satan like Mighty Number 9 was, but it was not great. But yeah, so the worry is that because after Microsoft bought them, that Rare, they lost a lot of their great theme. Like, the studio that works at Rare, the studio that made Grabbed by the Ghoulies, Banjo, Nuts and Bolts, Viva Pinata is actually a good game. I've played both Viva Pinata games. They are surprising. They're pretty solid. They're pretty fun. They're quirky. They're the closest we've ever gotten classic Rare since Rare died. Sea of Thieves had so much potential, but then it was just all squandered. I'll totally say that. Sea of Thieves could have been good. I hope that Skull and Bones is good. I really do. You know what game comes out this month? Shit, I completely forgot though. Freaking Trials game. Trials Fusion, or I may buy that. Ooh, I don't know. Again, if it has microtransactions, I hope it's a small budget game, kind of like what they did with Mario plus Rabbids. If it has DLC is one thing, but microtransactions and bullshit like that, no, thank you. Especially cosmetic, no. Just put everything in it. It's a smaller budget game. God damn it. But where was I going? So that's one worry, that whatever happened to them is happening again, and I totally get it. I do get where people are coming from. My worry, though, so Rare's been working on this project, and I feel like every year for the past 5 years, there's been talks that, hey, Rare's secret project is coming out this year. But then it never does. Now that they're working on Metroid Prime 4, there's two possibilities. The first one is that they're done with their secret project. It was rumored to be like a Star Fox racing game, which, why not just make an F-Zero? Because they're so similar. I mean, James McCloud from Star Fox literally shows up in F-Zero. Why not just make an F-Zero racing game if you're going to do a sci-fi racing? I mean, it could play completely different than F-Zero, but hey, it's something. But there's all that rumors about that project, or whatever it could be. It clearly was in development hell. I mean, they've been working. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze probably, I want to say it came out in like 2012, maybe 2013. And while I know a small staff ported it, clearly something was going on behind the scenes. There must have been something. This has been way too long. Now, don't get me wrong. Games in development hell can turn out good. I enjoy Skyward Sword. I know a majority of, especially like, I think the main example of good development hell things are movies, like Inside Out's the one I think of off the top of my head, was in development hell, but I think it's a pretty solid movie. But there's a lot of, so development hell, especially with games, I mean the obvious ones, Duke Nukem Forever, there's a lot of bad games that come out of development hell. I think Skyward Sword is fine, but a lot of people will say that was a game in development hell that turned out bad. If we lose this one, I'm going to be annoyed. But my worry is that even if, it either comes out this year, or it was just, they decided to cut their losses and scrap it. That's, either possibility is possible. We'll find out definitely by E3. That's, when Nintendo says they have unannounced games, that's the one I'm presuming they're talking about, is the Retro game. My worry is what happened to Retro Studios. Much like how they lost some key development members after Metroid Prime 3 was finished, my worry is they did the same thing after this whatever project got either canned or finished. There was some infighting, some development hell that eventually led to them losing key figures that worked on like the Donkey Kong Country games. My example is it NIS, Nintendo Software Technologies, NTS, Nintendo Technology Softworks, which was Nintendo's American development studio that made games like, I want to say they made Pilot Wings. I know for sure they made Wave Race, 1080 Snowboarding, right? That's what they were known for. That were these big games they were known for. But then In the early on, end of GameCube era, early on Wii era, they were going to do something a little different. They decided to make a game, Project Hammer. Project Hammer was like it was like a gritty, it was more of a gritty Nintendo game. I mean, we're coming off of the GameCube era, which Nintendo got a lot of shit for not doing the M-rated stuff. So it was this more gritty thing, and it was all about swinging a hammer. It was on the Wii. I want to say it was revealed around the time, early on in the Wii, but it was made by Nintendo Software's Technologies, or whatever the studio was called. And it was this big thing that, hey, they're making this game, but it went through development hell. Oh my god, I forgot you could throw that hammer, man. It went through development hell, lots of infighting. The big one that people know about is racism. Even though it was made by an American studio, all the higher-ups at the studio were Japanese. So when the Americans came with the problem that, hey, this game just really isn't that fun to play, the Japanese higher-ups were like, no, that's not what's wrong with the game. They specifically ignored American staff and instead just thought, oh, you know what the big problem is? The game, the story or the graphics. This is also where the whole tale about, they spent like $1 million on CGI cutscenes come from, and that they'd also do the same thing for the Mario versus Donkey Kong Minis March Again, which they got personally scolded by Miyamoto. That's where that whole thing comes from. But yeah, so there was all this infighting. The Japanese developers thought the Americans had no idea how to make games, and the Americans were trying to change it, make the game more fun by changing up the gameplay, but they just couldn't win. And there was allegations of racism, which I know some. God, I hate the feminist movement. That a Japanese being racist against an American is considered reverse racism. No, it's not. That's just reverse racism doesn't exist. It's just racism. God damn it! Why is that so hard to see? But yeah, so all that. So this all culminated with the game never released, I might add. Eventually they tried to basically remake the game, completely different story, art style, and everything, into a game called Recrush. That was just, and the problem was the gameplay, so it was never going to succeed. The Japanese were like, oh, let's remake the environments, let's do all this, and it all fell apart. And eventually the game was scrapped, and normally in a situation like that, the studio would have been killed if it wasn't for the fact that it was a first-party Nintendo's Japanese developer. If it wasn't for that fact, NTS would have definitely been destroyed, but they basically were, because all of their big, major, staff members more or less left the studio, and now it's just a shell of its former self. I mean, there haven't been a wave race or a 1080 snowboarding in years because of what happened, and now NTS makes exclusively Mario plus Donkey Kong games. Which, I do like those games, the Minis March Again and all that. I've had a lot of fun with those games, but it is a sad state to see the studio in. If you want to know more, I think Unseen64 did an entire, 2-part video on it that goes into more detail than what I talked about. If you're interested in, highly recommend going to watch those, because that's more or less where I got all my information from. So go check that out. Those are really interesting. But that's what happened, and that's what I'm worried about happened with Rare. Their project was in development hell. A lot of bad things happened. I doubt the racism and all that. But, specifically the development hell aspects. And it culminated with a bunch of major staff figures leaving Rare. So now Retro. So the current Retro we have is not the Retro we had that made the previous game, that made Donkey Kong games. And even before that, it's not the Retro that made the Metroid games. I think there's been an entire reshuffle, which is worrisome. I mean, the game could have been in development hell, but it could have walked out singing, man. It could be a fine game, and it's probably going to come out later this year if it does. But there's always that possibility. I mean, we'll know eventually, hopefully one day. Also, hopefully one day we'll also know what happened with the Metroid Prime 4. A lot of this stuff that was made for the game that was canceled, hopefully that'll all get leaked one day, because I'm really curious at what that is. But it'll happen eventually. But yeah. So it's restarting from the ground up. We're not going to see it for a while. There is, however, it's not rumored or anything, but it is theorized that Mercury Studios, the guys who did Samus Returns, might be working on their own original Metroid game. They remade Metroid 2, which I honestly think they did an okay job. I think that game, while it had some good gameplay elements, I think it was inherently flawed. And it also didn't really capture the feel of Metroid 2, which I love Metroid 2, if you've been watching my year of Metroid stuff. I haven't played it in a long time. Same thing goes for Other M, I might say. I have not played Other M, and I really need to replay Other M, because there's a part of me that knows. I think about it fondly in hindsight, but it probably doesn't hold up, admittedly. It probably doesn't. I don't know. I could be right. I could be wrong. I'm probably going to play it sometime this year. But I do think there is the speculation that Mercury is working on like a Fusion game. Not Fusion itself, but like maybe a new game in the Metroid franchise, completely original, based on like what they made for Metroid, the Metroid 2 remake, which I hope is true. I'd be totally down for a new original Metroid game, not a remake, just its own original story. Because there's this whole thing that I don't really understand about how Other M made the Prime games non-canon. I don't really understand that. I don't know enough about like what happened there. Maybe I'll find out one day. But there's this whole thing about, people hate Other M because it made Prime non-canon. Which there is definitely a way those games, from what I know, those games should be able to coexist. Yes, Other M is a direct sequel to Super Metroid, but that doesn't that not mean Prime could, unless Prime is also a direct sequel to Super Metroid in like the Wind Waker Twilight Princess vein, where they're both sequels to Ocarina. I don't see why those two games couldn't both exist in continuity. I know Fusion's also in there somewhere. Never played Fusion. I've not played a lot of Metroid games. I mean, that's why we're doing the Year of Metroid. But yeah, if they're making something original, something that's like, maybe, like just another story that exists at some point in the universe, in the Metroid universe, kind of, again, assuming what I think Fusion is like, I am totally down for that. I'm interested to see where that goes, and I hope, again, 3DS, with hopefully at this upcoming Nintendo Direct, because it's going to happen sooner or later. Hopefully there are no 3DS games, because I think the 3DS, at the investors meeting, they admitted that, yeah, this is one of the, probably not the worst selling year for the 3DS, because 3DS did not do good in its first year, but hopefully the 3DS is coming to its lifespan. All teams are done working on 3DS games. All development has shifted to, all development has hopefully shifted to Switch, Mercury Studios included, and yeah, I'm totally down for a new Metroid whatever. And Metroid Prime 4 I will, of course, be waiting for, even if it doesn't come out. There's also talk that there was talk about a Metroid Prime trilogy, which I still think is coming. Again, that may be another reason, and I think it might, I know Nintendo might think, because Metroid Prime 4 isn't coming out for another, like, 4 years, maybe. 2, like, I'd argue 2 to 4 years. Maybe Nintendo's thinking that they shouldn't release a Metroid Prime trilogy, but I think that's perfect. I think right now is a perfect time to release it. Because, I mean, Bayonetta 3 hasn't come out yet, and they already put out the first 2 games, which, hopefully Bayonetta 3 comes out this year. I think that's a hit or miss one. One hand thinks that, yeah, it totally could. The other hand thinks it might not. We will find out. That'll be an E3 thing. That'll totally be an E3 thing. And I think it'll have, like, a November release date. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I think they should put out a Metroid Prime trilogy. I'd much prefer... You know what I kind of also want, though? I kind of want an HD remake of the original Metroid Prime. Especially, because I know Nintendo's going to charge a full, like, $40 to $60 when you can get the game on Wii U for $20, and you can probably get it even cheaper at, like, a GameStop used. We definitely lost this one. Yep. Does not feel like they have 50%, but I totally see how we lost that. So I think they should put that out. I want an HD remake of the original Metroid Prime, though. I think that would be neat. Even if it's just an HD of the original and the second and third one are just standard, the original. Because I know there are some control problems, because the game's transitioned from the original to the Wii. But yeah. That's everything that has to do with Metroid. That was my big story. It'll happen eventually. I mean, Direct probably right around the corner. Metroid is also probably coming, or I mean, E3's in June. That's not far away. And yeah, that's more or less everything we got to talk about. Do I have anything? I talked about the Lego Movie. I talked about. Yeah, no, I talked about everything. I didn't talk about Argonaut, but that wasn't really important. NTS was important. But yeah, that's Splat Chat number 13. Most of the stuff it's been a long month, man. It's been a long month. Yeah. I need to play Wargroove, man. That's the big one for me. Let's see what we got here. That's cute. There's always such good art. They're real. Like, look at that. Look at that. I know there's some computer program to do it, but holy shit. Holy shit. Is that a Kid Icarus? Yeah, that's Kid Icarus. And even, like, art like this that's not, like, that quality, it's still super charming. Because, yeah. But yeah, next week we will be, we're continuing off with the year of Metroid. We'll be doing Super Metroid. I have never played Super Metroid before. Well, okay, I've done the opening sequence for, like, to get footage for my review of the SNES Classic. But I've never actually played Super Metroid. I've never gone through Brainstar. I don't even know if I've ever gotten the Morph Ball. So it's entirely blind. It's not entirely blind because I've seen, like, I've watched full playthroughs of it, even though that's been years away. I've watched the speed runs where they play the game when the map's like rotated. It's either upside down or it's rotated 90 degrees. Those are really interesting, man. I watch AGDQ, so yeah, I've seen the speed runs. I've seen the randomized runs. I've seen the Mark Brown video. Yeah, we'll be starting up Super Metroid next week. Oh, there's also talk that there's leaks in the code that SNES games are coming to Nintendo Nintendo bullshit online app, which there's entire rumors about Nintendo's online app being completely restructured and Nintendo completely restructuring their online, which I hope is true, but only time will tell. But yeah, that's everything. I'm gonna play some more Wargroove. I'm gonna go watch the Lego Movie again. Is it past? Yeah. I don't really have anything else to say. It's there's just a lot, man, and I'm excited for it. If a Direct is happening next week, don't get your hope up. You will always be let down. Because the optimistic view of pessimism, you are always right or genuinely surprised. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.